course I have passion for my 49ers.
I am not going to back down on this one. Sometimes I go extra hard just to prove my point.
No, you don't get to have it both ways.
It's head-to-head. It's mono-y-mono. It's 49ers face-off playoff edition, which means it's extra special. So I'm glad you're here. This is an extra show, and we got both guys ready to roll. We got Alex up top. We got JHill down below. Jason is got the 6 going. I'm hoping he's going to explain what the 6 means because he's doing it in complete silence.
I thought it was the 1-5 Jauan Jennings.
Oh.
It could be either, but it definitely means 6-0 the last 3 years versus the Lambs. And just maybe it could be our 6th Super Bowl now. We'll see.
Interesting. Okay, well, we're going to be getting into some topics,
So
and a lot of them...
triple meeting.
Okay, Jason's talking while I'm talking. That
A triple word score if we're playing games, you know?
Yeah, you're going to get a flag real hard. So just so everyone knows, if you've never been to Face Off, we're going to be going over a number of topics that Alex and Jason are going to be battling it out. I am the ref, and I'm going to be trying to keep charge of this. I will also be willing to throw a flag if needed, if they go off target or do something that is outlandish, or what the Jason Hill rule, too big of a sliding scale.
Yes.
And then also they are allowed to challenge a call if they feel that either one is being completely false or going against something they've said in the past. Both of those things are eligible. But the first thing we have to do, guys, is we got to get into the coin toss.
Oh yeah, the good old coin toss hit.
Yeah. So
it's been a while since we've done this. I think Jason is calling this one.
Yeah. Let's let Jason call this one. So you might not be able to see the actual coin flip on the screen, but I guarantee you I will be flipping it. Okay, go ahead, Jason.
Normally I call tails, but in honor of Fred Warner's game-winning call today, I'm calling heads.
Okay. It is tails.
And tails wins again.
Unfortunately, you are not as good as Fred Warner about calling these things.
At least today.
Yeah, so Alex, you have one, which means you get to decide, do you want to go first on the first topic, or would you like your counterpart, Mr. Hill, to go first?
I'm gonna let JHill go first. I'm gonna let him, get out there. This isn't overtime. This isn't an overtime coin toss. We're not going to try and take the ball first and run with it and put the game away. We're gonna let him.
We're going to take the ball and we're going to score, baby.
Yeah, that except not. We're gonna let JHill take the first topic.
All right, so Alex is going to defer to the second topic, and it's time for JHill. And JHill, the very first topic is, how nervous and concerned were you once we got to the first half? On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were you that the 49ers were going to lose to the Los Angeles Rams?
So going into halftime, I felt like that field goal was pretty big. I really thought that it gave us at least a chance, and knowing that we could loop around and we had the second half kickoff. Surprisingly, at halftime I was only about a 4 or 5 because I liked how the defense was continually putting the Rams in third and longs, and eventually the law of averages, if you keep 3rd and 8, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 16 that they were in, eventually we're going to get off the field, and eventually, in Kyle we trust, he's going to figure out the right play combo, the right motion combo to get something going. Did I necessarily think that they were going to come back to win? No, but did I think that it was going to be a massive blowout? Absolutely not. I thought we had a good chance to at least get to the fourth quarter and have it be within one score, and then at that point, Jimmy could do his thing, which he's starting to remind me of Derek Jeter here in that he might go 0 for 3 with 3 terrible at bats his first time's up. But in that 9th inning, if there's a guy on base, that he's going to always get that game-winning hit. And as far as Jimmy goes, if it's a 2 or 3 minute drill when we have to score. He's proven this year time and time again he's money. Now we haven't always been able to get the W, but it's not because of him in the offense. He's got us down there. He's got us in the end zone every single time. And so I really thought, just get it, keep it within one score. Stafford's been kind of loosey-goosey with the ball for the last month and a half. So maybe we get an interception here or something, and let Jimmy just kind of work his magic. And sure enough, it came to fruition.
So, Alex, Jason thinks that Jimmy Garoppolo's clutch. I'm going to let you talk about that a little bit. But first, I want to know what your nervousness and concern was in the first half, because Jason was at a 4.
Which is weird, right? He said he was at a 4, Ant. He also said he didn't expect the Niners to come back and win the game, which would probably mean that it was more than a 4 in theory. If you're saying you're not that worried, but you didn't think the Niners would win, therefore you should be worried. That's why I was at a 6. I was at a 6. I was slightly above, that middle threshold of worry, because it's 17. It was 17-0 up until the last drive when you scored a field goal. And I came out, we're going into halftime. I'm sitting there going, we have to come out in the first drive and score. You have to come out and score a touchdown, because if you don't, this game could be, the Rams are a drive away from putting this thing away. The pressure's on, it's mounted. Yeah, you just had a nice drive, but the first half was not going anything in San Francisco's way. I was sitting there watching it and just being like, look, that this first half is just, it's not good. It's not great. The Niners can't get a run game going. They can't get off the field on third down. And look, the Niners have made great adjustments after half and have shown that they are a team who can come out after half and execute. But what have we not seen consistently? We haven't seen the Niners come back from huge deficits and win football games. That just hasn't been something that has happened this year. We haven't seen it come to fruition. We've seen them put themselves in a position to win those type of games late. Green Bay is a perfect example of that. But they just didn't come out and finish it, right? Something didn't go their way. They didn't execute enough. The Niners did enough today, and that's huge. It's huge for their momentum. It's huge for their confidence going forward, because now you feel like you've grown enough throughout the season that you can win those football games. But going into halftime, man, it was nice and comfortable there at a 6 with the concern and the worry meter, knowing that we had to come out and execute on that opening drive of the second half. And if we didn't, there was going to be major, major problems. The Niners did. Those worries slowly melted away. Jimmy Garoppolo made some mistakes. He also made some great throws. Deebo Samuel continued doing Deebo Samuel things. Elijah Mitchell showed why he's RB1 yet again for the 49ers. And Kyle Juszczyk is the utility man of all utility men, the unsung hero of the 49ers. Pat McAfee gave him a huge shout out on Twitter for being like a dude, yep. being an athlete and going out and holding for the 49ers. We all know that just any old skilled player can just go out there and do that. Yeah, right. Kyle Juszczyk is an absolute savage, man.
Oh, no, that's true. Juszczyk was great. It took everyone to raise up their level, and everyone did. Like, They really showed a championship heart and a championship will to just say no. Like, we're getting our asses beat, but we are not gonna, like, this stops here. Like, they put their foot down and said enough's enough. They bowed up and just boom. And I meant to text you guys this just right when it came out that there'd be no Trent. I was going to ask you guys, would you rather have Trent and Trey or no Trent and Jimmy? Because that I was petrified when I saw that we were going to have Trent. So I'm like, oh my, and the first quarter especially, that looked huge. But then, and something that kind of got me to be a little more relaxed was the drive just before they scored, where they got the ball moving. They started finding a couple alleys in the run game. Now the pass that Jimmy threw that was a pick was a terrible pick. But it's like, okay, now they're starting to get the ball kind of moving how they play offense. So at that point, I kind of got up until then I was about an 8. After that, I knew it was 6, and then with that field goal, okay, now we're at a 4 or 5 now. Like that's literally kind of how it went. Because I saw nothing offensively, and I'm thinking, oh man, Trent's even a bigger loss than I even imagined. But
the sliding scale is so real.
You're getting playoff intensity from him with the curse word, and you're getting playoff intensity in the sliding scale as well. As
it adjusted as the game went on.
Yeah, literally play by play, he adjusted his nervousness.
Because I saw positive things that I knew would carry over.
Okay, I like that.
Hey guys.
Well, what I like though, Jason, I have no problem with you going from an 8 to a 4.
No.
What I find interesting is that you said earlier you were at about a 4, and then right now you said you were at a 5 or a 4.
No, I said 5 or 4 the first time.
Oh, so you kept sliding. Okay.
No, I was.
He's
4.5
consistent with the
for
sliding.
Jason Hill, somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, 4.5. Sure.
I love your sliding scales. Alex,
your last text message too was
about sliding scales. That was your ETA on arrival, and you still had a sliding scale of 5 to 7 minutes.
I was on the freeway, so you know.
Yeah, and of course we live in a small town, so you can get anywhere you want in 5 to 7 minutes.
I was in Stockton still.
Oh, wow.
Accurate. Oh, okay. All right. Well, then that makes more sense.
Yeah, he was in Eric Crocker's hometown. Well, way to go. Or Nick and Nate Diaz, to whoever you want to go about. But
or Brandon Cooks.
Alex and Jason, you guys both referred to in the last topic a little bit about some of the playmakers that stepped up and made plays. And one of the things we wanted to discuss was who was the wide receiver and the best wide receiver in this game. Because I think we had an emergence of a couple of guys, but we had 3 guys play at an elite level. Alex, you're going to be kicking off this topic. Which 49ers wide receiver had the best game of the wide receiver core?
It's tough, man. It really is tough. Debo obviously did Debo things yet again as a runner, as a pass catcher, as a route runner, in the short screen game, running after the catch. Jauan Jennings, huge third down catches, winning one-on-one coverage. Brandon Aiyuk settling down in space, beating zone coverage, beating man coverage, crucial big plays on third down, etc. This is where, for me, the question has to be specific, right? And the question is specific. Who was the best wide receiver? The best wide receiver was Brandon Aiyuk today. In terms of the route running, everything that he did, they didn't get him a lot of short catches, like short routes, screens, things of that nature, and asking him to run after the catch. That's what Debo did today. Debo was the best player on the field for the 49ers today, in every aspect.
The most exhausted too.
That as well.
He was done.
But BA was the one running the crucial routes, the middle of the field stuff, the stuff that Kyle Shanahan's offense that you have to have in order for there to be success. And then Jauan Jennings took advantage on third downs. Jauan Jennings was the best possession receiver out in the football field today. When they needed a crucial catch in a crucial situation, Jauan Jennings was the guy, and he won his matchup because Debo and BA were going to be blanketed most likely by Jalen Ramsey, or Jalen Ramsey was going to be on George Kittle. He essentially took over that George Kittle-esque role today and winning the one-on-one coverage and matchups in short down and distance situations when you need it most. But Brandon Aiyuk was the best wide receiver on the football field today. And the reason I say that for me is because it was a very eye-popping 6 catches for 100+ yards. Like if you watch that whole game, there were so many great moments that Brandon Aiyuk's 100-yard performance kind of just goes by the wayside if you're really not thinking that much about it, because you're thinking about Jauan Jennings' 2 touchdowns. You're thinking about, Deebo Samuel making every play whenever you need him to, whether he's a running back or a receiving threat or catching the ball on screens and taking him, 30 yards or whatever it is. BA had a quiet 100-yard receiving day, and outside of Cooper Kupp was one of the best route runners out on the football field today. Absolute great performance by Brandon Aiyuk. He doesn't get enough credit sometimes. And people sometimes want to throw credit at him when it's not deserved, like early in the season when people wanted to throw Shanahan under the bus and save BA, free BA, all this stuff. Everything that's happened along the way, BA has learned from. He's a better receiver now for the struggles he had early in the season, and the Niners needed it more than ever today.
I mean, if anyone who's seen 2 episodes of this show, I love BA, and I agree with everything you said. I've even gone so far as to say that the BA's a better wide receiver than Debo is in terms of just that aspect. Now, in terms of overall football player, obviously Debo is vastly superior there, but just as a natural wide receiver, BA is the best natural wide receiver on our team. And I continue to kind of say, as he goes, we go. Like, since he got out of Shanahan's doghouse, we're 7-2, 7-3. So, but today, and I mean, BA did BA things. Like, he did what we expected him to do. Today, the best wide receiver on the field for us today was, I can't believe I'm saying this. This is like hard to even say because
River Craycraft.
Yes, 100%. Was John Taylor. No.
Ooh, I like that one.
I have to say it was Jauan Jennings.
Oh,
He
my
made
Lord.
so many. I can't go Debo because he only could cough 4 balls. So and we're talking just about, the question was wide receiver, not playmaker. If we said who's the best playmaker, it'd have been Debo. Like that's a given.
That's
But
why
if
it's
we're talking
Brandon
about
Aiyuk. That's why it's Brandon Aiyuk.
No, it's not.
Yes, Jauan Jennings caught 2 touchdowns, but he almost dropped one of them. He almost dropped the one from Deebo Samuel.
And Debo had 2 or 3 go right past his ear that he just flat out missed 2. So
Agreed.
I mean,
Agreed.
they weren't perfect throws, but he still has to make those catches though. That's part of the reason why I see BA is the best natural receiver we have on our team. But Jauan Jennings made enough big plays because they put Jalen on Debo. So at that point, Jimmy had to sort of look around, and they started to kind of roll coverage over to BA. So who's left? Like, somebody had to step up and run good enough routes to get open. That was Jauan Jennings. He made multiple third down catches to keep drives alive. He caught the big one in overtime. That was 32 yards on a third down. Like, he had his best game as a pro in the game where we absolutely needed him. Not saying that BA didn't play well. Obviously, BA did his thing.
Hey, and both of his touchdowns, you have to admit this. Both of his touchdowns come off of situations in which the Rams are playing off of what they perceive to be the biggest threat. Debo Samuel on the handoff, them coming up in spacing, leaving him alone, and them doubling Brandon Aiyuk in the red zone and letting him basically break across the middle of the field without a soul in sight around him.
And I believe it's number 24.
Taylor
He
Rapp.
backed out, going somewhere to cover somebody. There was I still have no idea kind of where he was going on the game tying touchdown, but he was playing some zone somewhere with no Niners even near him. But fact of the matter is, when teams focus on your best players, you need other guys to step up. You don't need guys to run the wrong routes or be a half second off, not catch a ball. So what you're saying is not wrong. But I'm saying today he stepped up and he made the plays that we absolutely had to have because he was put in spots where the Rams said, hey, we don't think that you're good enough.
Those spots don't exist if BA doesn't have the day he had, just saying.
But I'm saying though, because of how the Rams were playing defense, they were going to say, if Jauan Jennings beats us, more power to you guys. And guess what? Jauan Jennings beat you guys. Yeah. And so for that, I have to give him credit.
Okay. I'm going to put in my 2 cents here. I believe the best wide receiver on the field was Debo Samuel. I think you guys make good arguments for both, and however, completely wrong. Because you had on the touchdown pass to Jauan Jennings. Brandon Aiyuk got double coverage. The reason Jason's wondering where Rapp is going is because he's going to cover Debo Samuel, who ran a ghost rush and ends up in the backfield. That is the Debo Samuel effect. When the big moment was on the line, when they needed that touchdown drive or when they needed to move down the field, who was the one getting the ball? It was Debo Samuel. He's the one that finds the one in the close window and then gets up the field and gets yardage. This is the kind of things that happen. Debo Samuel, you can, and then Jason, I got to go at you with the argument with the best natural wide receiver. What exactly does that mean? It sounds like kind of like a slight on Debo Samuel. Like the best natural wide receiver means you have to do only wide receiver things. Why are you putting Deebo Samuel in a box, sir? Why don't you let?
I'm not.
Why don't you
I'm
let a
saying
natural wide receiver actually be that? Deebo Samuel is
And
not.
that sounded like
better.
gadget player slander, and that sounded like
It did
gadget
sound
player
like gadget
Deebo Samuel. I agree.
playmaker. He's a playmaker.
He is a playmaker, and why can't a wide receiver's position expand? Why do we have to keep them into defined roles as far as, oh, he's a running back who plays wide receiver? No. He's a great football player that when he's a wide receiver is the best wide receiver on the team. When he's a running back, he's the best running back on the team. And shoot, when he wants to throw the ball, he's one of the best freaking quarterbacks out there too. You want him to hold? You want him to paint your fence? He can do that too.
And he can pass.
So BA runs better routes.
Okay.
He's a little more.
Well, hold on. Can we say that? I mean, it's literally like the last 7 weeks that he's been running better routes.
What does it? The real question is, what does it matter if he runs better routes? Does Deebo Samuel get open?
Yes.
But is he going to open because of scheme or his
is
route?
Brandon Aiyuk be open because of scheme or routes?
Both.
So is Deebo open? Deebo's probably the same way then, right?
Maybe, but
But why does it only apply one way, Jason?
I've also seen Deebo make some good catches, but like we saw today, there was a couple that were in this area.
Mm-hmm.
BA had a drop too, though.
BA had a drop too, yeah.
Right.
If we're gonna call it, I mean, it's the same way, right? Deebo drops some. Brandon drops some.
Yeah.
Guess what? Wide receivers drop balls. And is Deebo Samuel the greatest route runner in the world? Probably not. That's Cooper Kupp as of right now. But Brandon Aiyuk has not distanced himself from Deebo Samuel enough in the route running game. Remember, one of these receivers has over 1,000 yards in the season. One of them also has rushing touchdowns. He does dominant things on both sides of the ball. He's tasked to do more and still be able to compete at the highest level. Jalen Ramsey wasn't covering Brandon Aiyuk at the end of the game. Jalen Ramsey was covering Deebo Samuel. You said Jalen Ramsey be on the number one option. That was number one option at a receiver. Deebo wasn't playing running back at the time.
Well, he was also guarding Kittle.
Because they deemed that George Kittle was the number one option a lot for Jimmy Garoppolo. And then the wide receiver core, early, well done, Brandon Aiyuk. He makes it a big-time thing. Then later on, Jauan Jennings. But when it came clutch time, and you needed a big-time play, it was the guy that Aaron Donald doesn't know nothing about. It was Deebo Samuel making catches in windows down the field.
True. It's true. And listen, BA now in 2 seasons has put up basically the same stat line. He had 60 receptions in his rookie campaign. He had 50 this year, 748 in his rookie campaign, 719 this year, 5 touchdowns in both of those games. In both of those seasons, in his rookie and his sophomore campaign, the only difference being he started and played in 12. Well, he started in 11 games and played 12 last year. He started in 15 games and played 16 this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brandon Aiyuk's improvement is fine. I think he's a sophomore that struggled early and then came on. I have nothing wrong with what Jason said. I think you guys also all make great arguments. I'm just trying to throw out a little bit of like, maybe we shouldn't overlook the effect Deebo Samuel has just because he's not always making the catches. As a wide receiver, sometimes that means pulling coverage.
But the question was, who was the best wide receivers today? The question was not who was the best offensive player, though.
Yeah, but some of being the best wide receiver is being the best when you don't have the ball in your hands. Right. You're only seeing the times he catches the ball, not the effect he had to get those guys the catches.
No, I understand all that. But
no, you don't, because then you would have been arguing for Deebo Samuel to be the best wide receiver on the field.
I wouldn't.
You went with results. You went with 2 touchdowns. You're a results kind of guy. Oh, I didn't know that Jauan Jennings is wide open because Brandon Aiyuk and Deebo Samuel were occupying all the guys.
I saw the play.
Jauan Jennings ran a great route as he just ran across the middle free. I mean, I love Jauan Jennings, but let's be honest, you went with complete results. You didn't go with what you saw. You didn't even know who Rapp was covering.
That's true. Jay, you didn't go. You go
I knew what Deebo was doing, but I was just pointing out for effect.
Jay, in fairness, I also technically went results based because Brandon Aiyuk led the team in receptions and yards. I went results based also. I just also went with the guy who
we could pick any one of these guys and you would be right. Any one of these guys you could be.
You're not
right.
wrong. Yeah.
I kind of came in for the fun part of it because Jason was putting Deebo Samuel into the box.
I was not.
You were definitely.
He's a playmaker.
So you've had to classify him as a playmaker because you can't expand upon what a wide receiver can do. This is the same thing that Laviska Shenault is facing in Jacksonville.
Oh God.
They become
an awful game today.
They become a gadget player when they do anything besides play wide receiver for 95% of the snaps.
Okay, but we talked about, is he better off being a running back who plays wide receiver, or is he a wide receiver who plays running back? Like, we had the conversation on this very
We
show
did, or
twice.
you guys did?
First off, hold on a second. Don't even lump me in this category, because I tried to shut this down immediately. He is a wide receiver who can do running back things when you need him to. You're the one, Jason, talking about how he needs to be a running back going forward and not a receiver.
I said the way he runs the ball, it's at least worth consideration that he runs the ball really well. Oh my God.
Question for you, Jason, and this is a little bit off, but it involves Deebo Samuel. Do you believe Deebo Samuel did enough in this game to actually overshadow the great performance that Cooper Kupp had?
Okay, so if we're talking about people who are like real hard football people,
I'm talking about you. I don't know. Are you a real hard football person?
We're talking about the national media.
I'm literally talking you.
National media will expunge about how great Cooper Kupp is, and oh my God, he's amazing.
He's got a sliding scale this ant.
That one block that he had where he blew up Dante Johnson, that was amazing. And
it was a good block.
And I'm like, that's what Deebo does all the time. So yada yada yada. No, Deebo proved that he's a better football player today than Cooper.
Football player.
Yes.
So you actually are you think that Cooper Kupp's a better natural receiver than Deebo Samuel?
I don't think necessarily that. I think it's the spots that they're used and they're put in. Okay. Like, could Deebo do more of what Cooper does? I think so. Could Cooper do everything that Deebo does? I don't think so.
Is there anyone in the league that is anything near close to what Cooper Kupp is?
As a wide receiver? Devontae Adams?
Is there anyone that can do what Deebo does even close?
DeAndre Hopkins? I mean, I can name about 4 guys who
wait, Deebo?
Debo?
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Jesus.
Oh, you were still talking about Kupp. Okay,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, no,
you got a weird reaction from my face.
There's a couple guys that like this idea that like Cooper's like heads and tails the best receiver in the league. I think it's crazy.
Okay. I was just curious.
It's not crazy. I mean, you have to give him some credit for
Devontae Adams is.
Oh, listen. In terms of physical gifts, Cooper Kupp doesn't have the physical gifts that Devontae Adams, the D Hops of the world, even the Keenan Allens of the world have. Like they're just not.
How about
Jamar Chase? Like not
Jamar Chase. I mean, good God, yeah.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have those things. But what Cooper Kupp lacks in those things, he makes up for in two areas. Number one, it's the route running. How clean he is with his routes, how he can run any route on the route tree, and every route looks almost exactly the same. So as a defender, it's very hard to know what he wants to do and where he's going on the football field. And then number 2 is Sean Mcvay. Sean McVay and the offensive mind there that allows him to be able to do all of these things and consistently be schemed open. Takes his skill set, which is already, one of the best in the league, and takes it to another level.
And to answer Ant's question, I don't see anyone that does or can do everything that Deebo does.
So you think he's the MVP?
I didn't say that.
Oh. I'll say that right now. There's no player in the NFL other than Aaron Rodgers that is as important to a team's offensive success as Deebo Samuel is.
I don't know about that. I'm not even sure he's our team MVP.
Listen, if you're going to make it the Trent Williams argument, then okay, like you can make it, and I'm not going to disagree with you on that. But
I've said, I think he's the best player I've seen this entire year, regardless of.
I agree with you, but the Niners just rushed for 130 plus yards without Trent Williams on the football field.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and midway through the second quarter, they had minus 2 yards of offense.
It was a struggle. You're right. I can make this argument, Jason, because I do believe that there's a huge impact from Trent Williams. I think Trent Williams and Deebo Samuel should not only be in the conversation for MVP, but Offensive Player of the Year.
Yes.
The one thing I will say, though, is I have seen the 49ers win games without Trent Williams. I have not seen them win football games without Deebo Samuel.
Accurate. That's just accurate. Not many, man. Not many. He missed a lot of time. He missed a lot of time last year. There wasn't a lot of wins last season.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I mean,
But
Trent Williams'
Jimmy
impact
did
on
too.
the
I
team,
mean,
is
Jimmy's
big.
record is like 34 and like 12. So
no, I know. Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
we can
Niners win with Jimmy Garoppolo.
say that too, you know.
Oh, yeah. It's just Deebo Samuel definitely has an effect. But, guys, Deebo Samuel, Trent Williams, and all the 49ers are going to have a huge effect. Jauan Jennings, Brandon Aiyuk, you'll have to come in.
Them Cowboys!
Because the 49ers are returning to the rivalry that is 49ers versus Dallas Cowboys. Whether it's been the 70s, 80s, or 90s, this has been huge. And now it's back in the fold. You got two very good football teams that are built and constituted a little bit of different ways. But, guys, and Jason, you're going to kick this one off. Can the 49ers defeat the Dallas Cowboys, or are you really worried about this game on Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time on CBS, by the way? So maybe a Romo called game?
Here we go, Jim.
I love. Okay, that'd be great. But we got tryouts at 1:00 on Sunday.
Sucks to be you, nerd.
Annoyed.
Sucks to be you,
Why
nerd.
would you schedule tryouts during the playoffs?
That wasn't my choice. Believe me.
No belief in the Niners making the playoffs, AJ.
Wow.
No,
and I can't believe he wants
no.
to have the tree. He wants to do the tree outs more than he wants to watch the Niners.
Whatever, guys. As far as the Dallas Cowboys, just to be aware of some things here because
Okay.
you know they're so good and they just put up 59,000 points on Saturday night. They're 6-6 outside of their division.
Good stat.
They are in the last 2 years when old Dak Prescott, old Dakota Rain doesn't get 100 yards rushing. They're like 10 games under 100 the last 2 years just only.
Wow.
So, that being said, they're a good team. Oh, and something else. That interception machine, Trayvon Diggs, he also allowed 1,200 yards receiving this year.
Impressive.
So, can they make plays? Absolutely.
I saw.
But-
Hold on, I gotta build off this real quick. I did see a meme today. It was the highest of quality memes. It's one of those change my mind memes, and it says Trayvon Diggs. It says Trayvon Diggs is the Jameis Winston of quarterbacks.
I saw that one.
Changed my
Yes.
mind. It's
Yes.
absolutely spot on.
It's great because he looks great sometimes, and then you're like, what are you doing, bro? So, long story short, can the 49ers win? Absolutely. In my humble opinion, well, okay, never mind, I'm not going to lie, there's nothing humble about
Thank God you said it.
my
He
opinion.
goes extra hard just to prove his point.
I do. San Francisco can be in the Super Bowl. Like, I really do,
Ooh, I like
think
it.
that. Now, could they lose on Sunday? They could. But they are good enough. They are... You're number one. You're number one. They are good enough to where they can beat anyone. But they could go into Tampa, especially now without Godwin and some other injuries, and beat Tampa. They could definitely roll up in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field
I just threw a flag, by the way.
and beat Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Why?
I threw a flag because unsportsmanlike conduct off camera. Jason did something very inappropriate.
He did. That's
And
very accurate.
he flipped me the bird.
I
as
said
it
Oh
was
my
number one.
gosh.
Number
Oh
one.
my gosh.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw a flag on the play and admonish Jason, but not take anything away from him because I actually rather enjoyed it. I just wanted to throw a flag.
just because. I really think we can beat Dallas.
There you go.
I know Vegas won't for gambling purposes, but if I was to set the line, I'd put us a 3.5 to 4 point favorite. I really think we are the better team. We are the more physical team, and if Trent plays, we are the more healthy team.
I like that.
And what I don't necessarily want is for have another slow start. I want us to come out in the first quarter and really impose our will like we did the first time against the Rams or that kind of stuff, where we just make a statement early and control the game. If we can make the Cowboys one-dimensional and take Zeke out of the equation and Pollard and make Dak have to drop back 35, 40 times, what did they get? 4 or 5 sacks, and we'll probably get a pick or two as well. And at that point, And their thing too is they have a great pass rush. So if we can run the ball and stay ahead and make that pass rush actually have to play the run and not just be able to tee off on Jimmy, that'll be huge too. So score first, get up 8, 10, 12, 15, 14 points in there, get that pass rush back on their heels, make Dak have to drop back and be a passer. San Francisco should move on.
Yeah, the chances are really good for the Niners. For one reason and one reason only, this team is just as up and down as San Francisco is. The only difference is they played in a much worse division. They played in a very, very terrible NFC East, in which there's not a lot of competition. There's not a lot of people challenging them and making their life difficult. And despite that, they still blew some games in that division and made life harder for themselves, where they find themselves in this position rather than being the 1 seed like the Green Bay Packers were. This is a team that, guys, is 19th in total yards. 19th in total yards allowed defensively. They're 24th in the league against the pass, and they're 15th against the run. Sack-wise, you talked about the sack numbers, Jason. You might actually be surprised to know that they only rank 13th in sacks.
Yeah, they're explosive, but they didn't necessarily get a ton. See, and that's the other thing too, is a lot of their stats, both offensively and defensively, came in games against the NFC least. It just did. Like outside of that division, they scored 17 or 20 against the Chargers. They scored 20, but it was a garbage time 20 against Cardinals. I mean, they're not as good of a team as people assume because they play a terrible division. Like it stacks up a ton of their stuff. It just does.
Well, here's a weird stat for you too. Their red zone touchdowns. So the amount of times they allow touchdowns in the red zones, it's 5th in the league, which means they're not giving up a lot of red zone touchdowns. Wow. Their red zone touchdown percentage, though, 21st in the NFL. 21st. So when teams get in the red zone against the Cowboys, they are scoring. It's just that teams haven't been getting into the red zone that often, so they haven't given up a lot of total touchdowns. So look, this is going to be a much different game for the Cowboys than I think any team that they faced all year, because they haven't faced a team that plays this physical like the 49ers do. And I think that bodes well in their favor. The Cowboys, I don't believe, have been truly tested this way. And a team that, you can maybe don't compare them to. You don't compare the Niners to the Bucs. But early in the season, the Bucs were a very run dominant team and have had most of their success when they've run the ball. Well, the Cowboys opened up against the Bucs on Monday night in prime time. And, the Buccaneers got a win in that game in which they were able to pound the rock and run the football and have success and really force that Cowboys team to rely on the pass game. And the run defense for the Bucs was a problem for the Cowboys offense, who couldn't get anything going. The Niners front has been fantastic all year against the run. It needs to continue being fantastic. And if it is, and they put the onus on Dak Prescott to throw 40, 50 times in order for them to win the football game, that's 40 or 50 chances the 49ers are going to have to disguise coverage, which DeMeco Ryans has shown he's great at. And for them to come away with an interception or a turnover and really put the screws to this Dallas Cowboys team early. And hopefully the faithful Ant shows up in a huge way, Mr. Official and JHill, because if they do, and that game feels like a home game, in Jerry's world, Jerry's not only going to lose his mind, but the Cowboys' home field advantage goes out the window. And if that happens, the 49ers are in complete control, and you give yourself an opportunity to play Green Bay yet again for the second time this season in the Lambeau Field.
Necessarily. I mean, if the Eagles beat the Bucs, then no. If the Eagles beat the Bucs, then we got another round 3 versus in the NFC West again. So
sure.
Although I highly doubt the Eagles will beat the Bucs, but just hypothetically speaking, though, it's not a guarantee we go up to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field.
One thing I would like to ask each of you about this game is, what is your biggest concern for the 49ers? And then what do you think the 49ers' biggest strength is against this Dallas team as far as matchups? So let's kick it off with Alex. You go first. What do you think the 49ers' biggest concern is against this Dallas? Is it on offense? Is it on defense? And then also the 49ers' biggest strength going against the Cowboys?
Look, I think my biggest concern is the Cowboys' offense and the receivers against us. It's mostly third down conversion stuff, because the Niners have shown that they are susceptible and prone to giving up third down completions and letting teams extend drives. And I think if you do that and you keep your defense on the field and let them tire out, that can be a problem. The strength of this team is the pass rush being able to get home, and for your team to be able on early downs to slow the run game down and get teams in third and longs and make them be predictable in terms of their sets, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to attack you, and where they want to go on the football field. That's the strength of this team. If you're putting them in those positions and then allowing them to convert, you can dig yourself into a big hole. And you don't want to do that if you're the Niners, because what are the recipes for success in the playoffs, Ants? Ball security, right? And being able to run the football. If you get yourself down in a big hole, you're not going to be able to run the football at 8 o'clock. You're going to have to take chances. And when you take chances, that can lead to turnovers and a lack of ball security. So that is my biggest concern, is allowing them to play to their strengths, getting their weapons out in space, letting them spread the ball out, and then not, taking advantage of third and long situations if you're the Niners.
I'm not glad, but the fact that they only have 2 good receivers now is a little more comforting, and we'll have K1 back next week, so that'll help. My biggest concern probably just be first 10, 12 minutes of the game. Like, just establish a run game, establish that very quickly on that the Cowboys aren't going to run against us, which I don't think they will. I just think, the way our D-line today just destroyed the Rams run game was nice. And I personally think that the Rams running game, as far from an O-line perspective, is better than the Cowboys. What they do from an O-line perspective. So I'm not worried about that, but just come down and get a score early, get the crowd out of the game, get our fans into it. No dumb turnovers, no cheap PI. So AKA keep Josh Norman on the bench. And just be smart. Like, if San Francisco's smart, they're gonna win. Like, San Francisco has more good players than Cowboys do. Like, they just do. Like, that's just a fact. Like, I don't care. Line up player X, player Y, all the way down, and you'd want to have San Francisco's roster. And plus, one other thing that we forgot to. Mike McCarthy is a complete clown. Like, he has no idea how to run a clock or anything. Like, he's literally the worst coach on their staff. So we can count on him to do something dumb at some point.
Whoa, that was a lot, Jay. That was a lot, my guy. I mean,
well,
I'm not going
to Super Bowl.
He did win a Super Bowl.
He won a Super Bowl with Aaron freaking Rodgers. He won a Super Bowl. Exactly my point.
Got Dallas to win the division and make the playoffs as the number 3 seed.
Worst division in football.
I mean, you're not wrong.
If the
You're not wrong about that, man.
About the worst division.
If the Cowboys were in our division, they might have had probably something near the Seahawks.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
It is.
I mean, of course, the 49ers, Cardinals, and Rams all played in the toughest division and all came out with double-digit wins.
Accurate.
Because they're good teams.
That's
Accurate.
true.
They're
Accurate as well.
good teams.
All right, well, it is time for the drive.
Bring it, Dallas.
Let's do it, baby. Drive time, baby. Let's go.
So
Johnson, you can
here is the drive. Well, before I tell the drive topic, we got DX chops going on over here. But we've seen a lot of those, whether it was from a Steve's or whatever is going on this week. So Alex, you won the toss. You get to decide who goes first in the drive. Do you want to go first, or would you like JHill to go first?
Look, this is now like overtime, right? This is overtime, which means if I just take the topic and run away with it, then JHill's going to be standing there looking like a silly man. So I'm gonna go first.
Topic on hand is this moment, this win against the Rams. Where does it rank kind of in 49ers history over the last 20 years? How big of a victory was it?
That's tough. because in the moment, like you could be a prisoner of the moment and go like top 10, top 5, this is absolutely incredible, especially the way the season started. I would say it's probably top 10, like at the worst, it would be top 10. But this is also a moment that, much like Jason's sliding scales, could change depending on what happens in the playoffs. If the Niners go on a run and win a Super Bowl, then this is the game, right? This is the game in which you knew that the Niners were that team, that kind of team that could come back from anything, and had learned from the early, disappointments of the season, and that this win right here, in order to get in, a win to get into the playoffs, coming back from 17-0, this is the win where you knew this was that kind of team. And this was a team that was destined to roll and carve its way into a Super Bowl and go into the annals of history on the quest for 6. That's what this win feels like. But you have to build off of this win. You actually have to finish this thing off and go get a Super Bowl in order for this win to be one of the greatest wins in the last 20 years for this franchise and this organization. It's definitely top 10. There are a lot more memorable moments. There's the catch 3, as I refer to it as, Ant. That was an absolutely great moment and great play for the grab, as you like to.
The Vernon Davis one?
Yes, the Vernon Davis one, the grab. There are a lot of plays.
He got him.
The Bowman interception and to seal it there, a candlestick as well.
Pick at the stick.
The pick at the stick. Then you have the entire Super Bowl run with Harbaugh. You have Kyle Shanahan's Super Bowl run in 2019 with that team. The absolute shellacking of the Green Bay Packers at Levi Stadium. I mean, there are a handful of incredibly great moments from the 2019 season that would easily go in most people's top 10. But I think this game has to at least be in that 9th or 10th slot because of the way that it got done. Going to LA, SoFi Stadium, doing it for the 6th straight time against the Los Angeles Rams, a division opponent and division rival, going into overtime, coming back with a minute 30 plus on the clock, driving down the field to force OT. This feels like a game that could climb up lists later on down the road, but as of right now, it sits firmly in that 9th, 10th slot.
Definitely top 10. Definitely could change depending on how we go through the next 6 weeks. What made the catch great, right? Great play, great throw. But they finished the deal. Like it won the NFC Championship and then won the Super Bowl. What the catch 2? Owens. He caught it. That play was amazing, but we didn't get to the Super Bowl, and obviously we didn't win one. So it doesn't get the glory of other plays. The Vernon Davis one, great play. Amazing, but they didn't get the job done at the very end. So, one game that you forgot to mention, guys, was the one against the Giants, where they were way behind it, and Garcia, I think it was either 0-1 or 0-2, and Garcia brought him all the way back too. Like, so don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but in a game you absolutely had to have, like. Because the Falcons laid a giant egg, we had to have this game. Falcons laying an egg. Yeah, I did that on purpose. That's quality right there. Thank you. We had to have this. Like, it's either we get the win or it's a completely failed season. For a team to have 7 playoff spots and this team to not make the playoffs would have been an abject failure, especially when you made the choice to give Trey no reps, okay? So you had to at least get in the playoffs to justify not playing Trey, all right? So from that angle, it's a success that we're in the playoffs. The gravitas of the moment will change based on how far we go. If we get to the NFC Championship game, this game goes from 9-10, maybe 11 to 7 or 6.
Did you just really 9, 10, 11 it? Did you really just cover all your bases in the top 10, out of the top 10? and then slide it on down to 7 right in the middle. Can you stop? We have a gosh darn intervention for this man in the sliding scale. No more sliding scales for JHill. I want a flag. I want a flag right now. Throw that flag out there. You don't get to have it both ways, Jason. It doesn't get to be in the top 10 and out of the top 10 at the same time. It's either in the top 10 or it's not. Jesus.
It's not even.
We have a challenge flag. And what do you want? You want to challenge whether that was a sliding scale or not?
Well, not only it was a sliding scale, but that Jason is claiming it's in the top 10, but then also put it out of the top 10 of plays. And he said 9, 10, or 11. It's either in the top 10 or it's not in the top 10. It can't be both. It's not possible.
Jason, I would like to say that, number one, Alex is completely right. And he did go to the sliding scale. And you also made him go to his opening monologue comment of "you can't have it both ways." Well done, sir. Well done. So both of you received points on this. I enjoyed it.
To me, it's not even the most important win of the Kyle Shanahan regular season era. That still goes 2 years ago. Going up to Seattle.
Oh, I thought you were going to go New Orleans there for a second.
And then I'd go New Orleans number 2, and then today number 3. So in Kyle Shanahan era, regular season games, this was the third best, or the third most important, I'd say.
I disagree with you.
That's why we have a show.
Yeah, that's true. I disagree with you on that. This feels like, in terms of those two games, this one feels at this point in time, at this moment, the weight was bigger, because that one, the Niners won the playoffs no matter what. It was just a matter of, were you home
the
field?
One seed?
Yeah,
were
you the one seed? Were
and
you at home?
Going up to Century Link, which has still proven to be a house of horrors.
100%. It 100% has. But that year, you were going to the playoffs regardless. It was just a matter of, were you at home the whole time? Was everyone coming through Levi's, or were you going somewhere else at some point in time?
That's a big
difference.
This
game was not that. This game was, you don't even have a chance to play in the playoffs unless you win this football game. A lot more at stake in this one.
I actually think you guys both make great arguments in this point, and I'm curious what all the people listening think, because I do think both games carried a lot of weight, whether it was this game against the Los Angeles Rams or what Jason was talking about, the 49ers traveling to CenturyLink Field, where it doesn't seem like they win very many football games at all. In fact, I can count them all in one hand, because there's not that many guys. So I am curious what people think, but I'm curious what they think about all these topics. There was a great conversation during this episode. Both guys brought the arguments in a both way. We had some laughs. We enjoyed ourselves. One thing we know is all three of us agree on some things, and one of that is 49ers need to beat the Cowboys on Sunday.
Accurate, Ant. They have to beat the Cowboys. Let us know who you thought took this thing. Was it me? Was it JHill? Was it Mr. Official coming in with the huge Deebo Samuel?
The Deebo love.
The Deebo, not just love, but proper argument to be made for Deebo Samuel in this as well. Let us know in the comment section. Vote in the poll as well. Guys, this was a fun episode. The first ever playoff, technically, edition.
It's good to be back.
Of Face Off.
I missed this stuff.
We took some time off. I was away, and you weren't feeling too well. And
I got sick.
Yeah, it's been fun. But hey, we got it back going. Face Off back better than ever. Good times.
Monday morning was just not the same
without Face Off. No, I agree with you. Just wasn't the same here on the 49ers Cutback. But now we're back to normal. We got a game recap show coming up after this at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't miss out on that, where you get to relive all of the great moments from this game with us, as well as us going through our key matchups as well from that game. But hey, man, it's going to be a fun week. Playoff edition of the 49ers Cutback here in season 2. And I'm excited for it. It's going to be a blast.
I am too. And it was nice to be back. It was nice to have JHill back, and doing Face Off again. It's been a crazy few weeks, but back and better than ever, and it only makes sense that it's a playoff version. You see the intensity level up from JHill, seeing it up from Alex. It was exciting. I enjoyed the arguments. Both of you brought great stats, by the way. You will actually, if you guys watch this back, you will hear me say, that's a great stat. That's a great stat. You guys are hitting it on all points today. Well done, sirs.
Hey, that's what we're here for. Happy New Year, everybody, as well. New year, same old Cutback, and a new energy on Face Off.
I'm just glad, probably though, that we didn't have to do a show after the Titans game.
Don't worry, JHill. Ant and I covered that. We covered the reaction show.
The FCC might have been mad at me.
What Titans game, Jason? This is the playoffs. This is the new season,
Playoffs.
sir.
Playoffs.
Everything that happened before this is now irrelevant.
It just was a building block to get to this moment.
Boom, you're on it, man.
He's on it. He's on top of it. Cutback crew, we'll see you for the reaction show.
Is
And
this
until
the
then,
run for 6.
hopefully it is the run for 6. But Cutback crew, until the next one, stay safe.
Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.